So you found the home you've been looking for, and now you have no idea what to make an offer at. How do you price the home? Well, a lot of folks, what they'll do is they will look at the listing price and they'll start negotiating based on the listing price. And that is a terrible strategy. It's terrible because you have no idea if the price it's listed at even makes sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it through a process that I go through, and I'm going to do it very high level. I'm not going to get into detail about all these specific things I do. That's going to be a separate training at another time. But what I want to do is just take you through the process of how we take this giant pool of homes in a town and narrow it down to just a couple to be able to compare it against, and how we go about that process. Okay? So what goes into pricing a home? Obviously, your market conditions. Is the market advancing, retreating, or is it neutral? Your absorption rate and pending ratio. I'm not going to get into what those are in great detail. That's important. Your macro market, the town as a whole, analysis of similar homes. So if you're a 4-bed, 2.5-bath home, what are other 4-bed, 2.5-bath homes doing price-wise? And then that's going to help you define a micro market that you're going to get really into. You're going to look in really closely. Then you're going to make some adjustments. Homes within a half mile, because maybe certain parts of town sell better than others or worse than others. You get more per square foot, or they're on the market for less time. Maybe it's location, size, finishes, etc. All that you're going to take all that into account. It's a process. Now, the one thing I have this caveat is I get folks do this all the time. If you're looking in pick a town, if you're looking in, I don't know, Framingham, you can only look at other homes in Framingham. All right. If you're looking in Easton, you can only look at other homes in Easton. You're not going to look at homes in Mansfield or Sharon or Stoughton or Brockton or Rainham or Norton. You're not. It's just not. Does that? I don't care if you tell me the homes are really similar. Easton, Mansfield, Foxborough, all pretty similar. Easton and Mansfield, almost identical populations, but school systems are different, business environment's different, town politics is different, taxes are different. You can't. You have to stay in the same municipality or the same zip code. All right? So you're going to look at your market conditions. So I have a quick sheet that has this information on it, but you're going to gather as much of this information as you can. And you're going to look at the current 12-month cycle, so today minus 12 months, and then you're going to look at the previous 12-month cycle, so 13 to 24 months. And the reason being is you need something to compare against. Some may say 6 months is good enough. I disagree. If we had steady weather year-round like Southern California and there's no change in the market, that'd be one thing. But we have a very cyclical market. So in the winter, our weather gets cold and shitty. In the summer, it's hot and humid, and people want to go on vacation because our summers are short. So our summers and our winters tend to be a little bit slower, and our falls and our springs tend to be a little bit more robust. So you really need to look at 12 months, in my professional opinion, to get a good idea of what's going on. So you gather this information, right? Then you're going to look at your macro market, the town as a whole. Is sales volume advancing, declining, or neutral? Time on market, average sales price, all that. Are they advancing? Are they declining? Are they neutral? And each one has a little bit different range for what is neutral or is holding steady. So sales volume, I say it's plus or minus 5%. Basically, that's neutral. Time on market, plus or minus 10%. And pricing, plus or minus 3%. So you'll take that into account in assessing pricing. Then you're going to look at your absorption rate. So absorption rate, you've heard the term buyer's market and seller's market. Well, they're actually talking about the absorption rate. So if you think of a seesaw diagram, like on this picture here on the screen, all right? The hinge is the middle at 6 months. So 5 to 7 months is neutral. Greater than 7 months is a buyer's market. Less than 5 months is a seller's market. And obviously the lower the number goes, the stronger the seller's market, and same thing on the buy side. So basically absorption rate says if nothing else came on the market, everything continued to sell at its current pace, how long would it take for all the inventory in town to sell? So if you had 100 homes in the market and you're averaging 50 home sales a month, that's an absorption rate of 2. All right, and that's a strong seller's market, so you're going to be advancing your price on that one. Okay. Pending ratio. This is a really simple ratio. It really takes into account everything that's pending, which is going to be contingent or under agreement. So they've accepted an offer or they've actually signed purchase and sale. You're going to compare that value to the number of homes available in the market. And depending on what that comes out, it's going to tell you whether it's a healthy market or unhealthy market or the market is getting overheated. And that's going to help you understand that a little bit. This is very simple. right? And then your macro market. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult for you to gather all this information. It's going to take a lot of research on your part if you're using online tools like Zillow or Trulia. Now, I've written my own software to pull this data from the multiple listing service. But if you want to do it, you just got to break everything down by price zone, figure out the absorption rate in each of those price zones, define the market type. Is it a strong seller's market? Is it a strong buyer's market? Is it neutral? Whatever the case may be. And then you also want to gather what percentage of sales happen in that price zone. So in this case, the $450,000 to $500,000 range is 0.83 months of inventory, so less than one. So it's a super, super strong seller's market in that range. It means they're really inventory constrained. It's almost 14% of all sales in the town of Easton. And that is right now our number one market. So anybody's looking for something that in that price range is going to be hard to find. So if you have a home in that price point, you're going to be able to push your price up a little bit because there's not enough inventory. So you go through this process. And then what you're going to do is go through similar homes. You're going to take all the homes in the market and you're going to say, I'm looking at 4-bed, 2.5-bath homes. So you're going to just look at sales. We don't care about active. We don't care about under agreement. All we care about are sold. Sold homes in the previous 12 months, 4-bed, 2.5-bath. It's going to give you this big pool. And you're going to start to narrow it down. You go through a process. So you're going to, maybe it's only colonials. And maybe that goes from 50 homes to 40. And then plus or minus 10% or plus or minus 20% of the square footage. And that goes from 40, brings you down to 24. And then 1+ garage only brings you from 24 down to 20. And then more than half an acre. And you go through this process. Only homes in this specific zip code or north of this specific road or whatever the case may be. But you'll find a way to narrow that list down to somewhere between 3 and 6 homes. All right, and that gives you something to really look at. You look at those homes closely, and you'll be able to come up with some sort of pricing on where you think a home should be. So let's say we look at a home and we think it should be $350,000. You're going to go plus or minus 10% around it. So minus 35,000 plus 35,000. So you're going to be looking at a zone of 315 to 385,000. Then you're going to, so that's our micro market. Then you're going to do a search just on 315 to 385,000, all home styles. All right, and then you're going to do that same process again. You're going to narrow it down until you end up with about 3 to 6 homes. All right, and then we're going to make our adjustments. We're going to look. I like to look around a half mile around the home because different parts of town can sell differently. Then we're going to make adjustments on square footage and finishes and time of market and quality of a neighborhood. And is it in a neighborhood or an active street? And this one has professional landscaping and this one's got a shit yard. And this one's in a flood zone and this one's not. Whatever the case may be, you're going to go through all that and you're going to make those fine adjustments. And that is the process we go through for pricing a home. Again, I am Ryan Cook. I'm the broker owner of HomeSmart First Class Realty. If you have any more questions on this, please reach out to me. You can reach me at ryan@homesmartfirstclassrealty.com. I'll be doing additional, more in-depth training on each of these individual sections to teach you how to do this. But I just wanted to get this really quick overview out there for you. Good luck in your home search. Good luck in pricing. Again, reach out to me with any questions. It's Ryan Cook with HomeSmart First Class Realty. Ryan@homesmartfirstclassrealty.com. Thanks for watching.